Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, kind of at the start of a, I can't tell what season it is. Actually, I guess you can because of the year. It's a FIFA 23 Kit Quest career mode. As you can see here, kinda, sorta. So we were playing as Bayern Munich, or FC Bayern, Bayern München, whatever you want to call it. So here's an FC FIFA 23. So kind of the introductory video. Kind of just go through quickly who kind of the player focuses, what kit it is, and kind of then like we can quickly look at the board objectives and the squad and whatnot. And then that should be it for this intro. And then the next video will be like the 22-23 season recap. So in terms of kind of the player focus, we can go to the squad. In terms of the system, yeah, I guess this is not quite what it's going to look like. It's just like the default one. That's like the right formation there, the 4-2-3-1 wide. But this is a weird season, I guess, right? Because this is the season that like Nagelsmann was the manager for like most of it, and then for whatever reason the Bayern board sacked him and hired Thomas Tuchel, and then Thomas Tuchel was there, and I don't know, maybe it was better in the 2022-23 season, but from watching Bayern, it's 23-24 season after Harry Kane moved there. Tuchel ball was dreadfully awful. I like hated it. It was awful. Like it was, as you can kind of tell, was last season 23-24 was Bayern's like worst season ever in like recent history, and like Tuchel ball was just like terrible. It was god awful. So we're gonna kind of as we get into the player focus and stuff, like it's gonna also kind of make sense, but we're gonna instead of using Tuchel's tactics set up in this, we're going to use the manager here for most of the season and was here when the kind of player focus did the thing that is the reason why we're doing this kit quest. Here it was Nagelsmann was the manager, so we're going to use the Nagelsmann's tactics. Conveniently enough, I guess they both do use, like at least according to the kind of YouTube channel, you've probably seen me frequently link in the description where I kind of get my tactic setups from to try to replay the real life tactics. Both used a 4-2-3-1 wide, but there are like subtle differences in them and whatnot. So we're gonna use Nagelsmann's tactics instead and whatnot, and kind of set up. So the link to that video will be in the description. Kind of so if you want to kind of use what I'm using, like or kind of here's where I got it from. That I kind of link in the video, and like the description will kind of be there to explain the tactic from that like channel. But yeah, so let's I guess kind of get into the squad hub here, so we can look at kind of who the player focuses and whatnot, looking at kind of the squad in general. So yeah, so scrolling down here, I got, gee, that's like a, oof. Malinor looks a little rough in that picture. This kind of version of him, yeesh. But yeah, we've got like a bunch of goalies or whatever reason. Now we've got Alphonso Davies, Cancelo. That's left back. I guess this season I'll kind of say this now, because this is the season that Bayern, this last time they won the Bundesliga, and they also won the Super Cup this season. So that's kind of two trophies already in the bag, kind of at the end of this first season. So this might be a one-season wonder as well, like the Inter one, which is our last kit quest, was as well. This might be a one-season wonder also, kind of because of the whole trying to having to do the research, like to figure out like their last 5 matches against certain opponents and stuff, like because the site I use is only for English football, unfortunately. So we'll kind of see at the end of the season, I guess, kind of talk about that then. So that's just kind of quick note there as well. That you kind of got a bunch of people here that also are not at the club anymore. And a bunch of, holy cow, a bunch of youth players that, like, I have no idea who the hell any of these people are. So, most of them are probably going to get moved on. But I mean, Teo Hernandez is also no longer here. So a lot of these players, like, it's kind of crazy to think about it. Like, this is coming out, it's like the 24-25 season, and like a lot of these players no longer at Bayern Munich. So they have had a decent amount of squad turnover in the past couple of seasons. Because like Jan Sommer's no longer here. I think he's like, he might be at Inter now, I forget, but he's no longer here. Nubel's like, I think kind of probably going to bet Stuttgart permanently if they can figure out the wages and whatnot. So Neuer's there, and then we have like Ulreich is still there. The only two there. The goalkeeper is the other guy. I have no idea who he is. He might still be in the youth system. It's like Davies is still there, I guess, but then like Cancelo is, I think, I don't even know where he is. Pavard's at like Inter. These youngsters don't really matter. This guy probably retired or he's somewhere else. I have no idea. But holy cow, it's a lot of center backs prospects. And like Lucas Hernandez is at Inter. No, it's Teo Hernandez. Just kidding. Lucas Hernandez is at PSG, I think, right? Yeah. Delict is at United. Tupacano's still here. Mazraoui's at United. Stanisic, I guess, is still there. Sar, he's left. Pavlovic is here, but he's like no picture. I'm pretty sure his like potential is like really low, so it's kind of a bit of a rip considering how good he actually is for Bayern. Kimmich is here. Coman is still here, but he's out of the club. Like they pretty much seems like they want to get rid of him IRL. And I also will be. Oh Jesus, he has a 5-year contract. I probably will be getting rid of him early anyways, just because if you go on his Wikipedia page, you'll probably see a section there about certain things that he has done in the past that I'm not a huge fan of. So he'll probably get moved on early anyways, just because of that. Even though he has a 5-year contract, kind of bending the rules a little bit, but kind of players like that, I'll do it for. Let me just pull this Wikipedia page actually, just to make sure I'm not lying about it actually being on his Wikipedia page. Is it in here? Yeah, so it is in his Wikipedia page. So yeah, that'll be or he'll no longer be here. Anyways, he's also kind of buns. Like for at least from my experience watching Bayern, he's been kind of cheeks, as has most of the wingers. So he will not be staying. Uh, Gravenberch is now at Liverpool. Goretzka is kind of on his way out the club. Sabitzer is he at Dortmund? He's not here. Musiala's still here. Muller's still there, I guess. Like Tillman is obviously not there anymore. This guy I think is still around on loan. Sané still at Bayern, but he is absolute cheeks. I'm sorry. Like in terms of, like the wingers like that Bayern has like that are here, they're also still here, kind of like in 24-25. So Coman, Sané, and Gnabry. Like Sané and Coman, like of the three, because I think Bayern are trying pretty much are all trying to get rid of most of them. Like the only one I would probably keep of them is Gnabry. Sané, cheeks, don't, he's just bad. Coman also not great. Like at least from my watching, they're kind of not really it at Bayern anymore. So I'd move both of them. I want to keep Gnabry, but Gnabry's also like the most injury-prone one. So you kind of would think that Gnabry would be my least favorite because he's like an ex-Arsenal guy, but he is not. He's probably of the three like the one I kind of don't mind. The other two, Sané was Man City, and he's kind of cheeks, don't like him. And then Coman, kind of bad. And as I explained, check his Wikipedia page, it'll be in there. But Gnabry, the only thing with him is he's just like if he was like had less injury troubles like he did in 23-24 season, I'd be more inclined to say he should stay around at Bayern. But I feel like Bayern are probably actually what's probably going to happen is Bayern are probably going to try and get rid of Gnabry and Coman, and then like his time of recording this, at least Sané's contract's still expiring, and probably like sign him to like a really cheap deal and keep him. But no Michael Olise here, obviously, because it's like 2 seasons before he joins Bayern. He's like the only one of the wingers I really like. Sadio Mane is like in Saudi now, I'm pretty sure. So yeah. And then here we go. There we go. Finally, we got all the way from at the bottom, the second to last player on this thing. And Choupo-Moting is no longer at Bayern either, because sheesh, the fact that he was like their starting striker is kind of frightening. But here we go. That's like not a. That's like like it's obviously not like Tel's actual face, but it's not bad, I guess, for like a kind of approximation of his face. But as you can see here, yeah, Mathys Tel is the player of focus for this kit quest. He completed his like deadline day move on loan to Tottenham with an option to buy, which I hope he smashes it out and Tottenham are able to keep him. But yeah, he's the player of focus here. He's a really exciting kind of young player, a lot of potential and whatnot. And the whole thing is exciting. You probably saw like kind of on the little info screens that pop up, like the news. The manager for this kind of one is Jean d'Arc, and the problem kind of is number 59. Like no one, because of how like kind of like numbers and stuff work in soccer. Like it's not really like hockey where a lot more players are kind of just like pick what they want a little bit more willy nilly. It's kind of more of like a system to how it works for the most part. like no one for Spurs really has worn 59 like in a competitive match except for like Mikey Moore when he debuted. Like it became the youngest player to debut for Spurs, but he's not in FIFA FC 20 FC 24 I guess because yeah FIFA 23 is less FIFA. So in FC 24 he's not in the game. He's only in FC 25, so it's kind of a problem there. So I can't. I would have done like a his debut one in FC 24, but can't do that because he's not in the game. So I kind of was like, eh. And no one else really won 59 for Spurs, like an actually competitive match as far as I could tell. So I was like, yeah, let's kind of instead of doing the number because there's no number options, we'll kind of do like a thematically based on like pretending she was like her kind of server ID number was like above 99, and that's kind of like, all right, Tel just came Tel just came to Spurs from Bayern, and he's kind of like the young kind of French player and whatnot, kind of vibes like kind of his age, kind of similar age to like Jean's age, supposedly when she did like kind of all her stuff in history and whatnot. So I was like, he's young, exciting French player, kind of fits the vibe. Also because I think he's going to be an absolute superstar. So I like him. So the kit is not this home kit. It's going to be the away kit is the kit because he scored his first goal for Bayern, which he became the youngest goal scorer for them in a competitive match in a DFB Pokal match against Victoria Köln in round one of the DFB Pokal. And like the away kit also it's like a nice kind of white and gold kit, which kind of matches kind of Jean's vibes, kind of like her like Final Ascension and whatnot. So I was kind of like it kind of fits the player, kind of fits, and like the kit also kind of fits the vibes I like. So it's also just clean like white with like white kit basically with like the kind of like the sponsors and the logos and stuff are all in gold, which I really like. Yes, that's kind of the kit for this one. So I'll probably put the link also to the highlights from that match. You can see the goal he scored and whatnot in it. But yeah, so it tells the player focus here. So that means in terms of kind of the teams that like in terms of transfer strategy and whatnot, the teams as far as like the current next as kind of other teams that kind of fit here. It's going to be Rennes, where he was as like a youth player, and then Bayern snatched him up. Kind of I think right before the 22-23 seasons when Bayern snatched him up. And then so that players from Rennes and then players from Spurs because he's kind of currently at Spurs are the two kind of teams. So in terms of kind of what that means in general is a lot of these players, I'm going to have to look into their history and whatnot, depending on when their contracts expire and whatnot. Look at their histories and then move them on accordingly or hang on to them. In terms of also because the German like homegrown, so in terms of I don't know how the rules work necessarily in the Bundesliga. I might actually just look that up while I'm recording this real quick. Let's look up Bundesliga homegrown. See if they even have a homegrown rule. Here we go. On the actual, is this? Yeah, I think this is like actually in the DFE, like the German, the DFL website. So at least 12 players, German players, in the local player rule. When is this article from? Initially, oh, blah blah blah. This is, I'm guessing this is current, so they probably would have added it. Initially, only two non-German players were allowed in each squad. The Bundesliga, that was increased to three in 1992. And then after 2006, 2007, the limits were lifted. Then, as now, however, each club in the Bundesliga and the Bundesliga 2 must have a minimum of 12. Whoa, okay. Must have a minimum of 12 licensed German 12 licensed German players under contract. Okay. So, but I mean, we might kind of get around that in game here by kind of just like if you count like the youth players as like under contract, to sign a bunch of German youth players to kind of get around that. But in general, in terms of senior players, they're probably gonna because it's like a little loosey-goosey and vague. You're probably gonna follow like the Champions League UEFA kind of rules, which are a little more strict, where it has to be like you have to have it's like basically like squad of 25 is kind of your max size pretty much. And then you have kind of four club trained players. So like four like by the club, and then like four like association trained. So others like people that were from like other academies and like other German academies, but like I guess like kind of the first one kind of also fulfills the second one technically. So if you have like 5 like club trained players, they also I think count like one can then count as association trained, but it obviously can't work the other way around. So you see 8 homegrown players, at least 4 club trained, 4-ish association trained, and then 17 foreign players and like players under like 8 under like 21 or whatever. You get like the list A and B. So list A is like the over 21. List B is kind of under 21 if they're like been at the club for a certain amount of time and whatnot. But that's kind of a little bit neither here nor there in that sense. Because I don't get into like the weeds that much because also because you don't usually have that many young players. I try to keep the squad kind of like at like the 25. That's kind of it. So yes, we're gonna follow the UEFA rules there. So 17 foreign players for club trained, try at least for club trained for homegrown, and that yeah, so that's kind of be the rules. We'll also have to look into all these players' histories because for the most part, I don't really know much about a lot of these players. Well, so the ones that are still at Bayern now, I kind of know a decent bit about. Like as I said, like Gnabry's from like an Arsenal kind of former Arsenal player. Sané is from Man City, and you have like Musiala was I'm pretty sure like a Chelsea academy player. But I guess depending on when he transferred over, he might count. I'll have to look into like his kind of specifics on Wikipedia and whatnot. Like Thomas Muller, obviously I'm pretty sure he's Bayern through and through. So he'll be kind of like one of our club trained players, obviously, and then kind of some of these other youngsters that are here will kind of probably fill those roles if we do more than one season and whatnot. But yeah, I'll kind of get through that one. That'll kind of be end up being gone through probably at the end of the season, the recap after the first season, and I kind of go through some of the transfer business and whatnot. But in terms of like I guess kind of transfer strategy, targets for this first season in terms of like what I'm just kind of initially looking at, and also probably is also going to depend on like who I can move out, who's going to be moving in and out and whatnot. But as you can see, there's a reason why Thomas Tuchel kind of when he came was kind of like Bayern need a striker, and went out and kind of made them spend 100 million euros on Harry Kane because I'm sorry, not to be like rude to Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, but like he should not be the starting striker for like one of the biggest clubs in world football. So I probably will end up trying to see depending on how things work out in terms of moving parts and whatnot. But Harry Kane, basically a season early here to Bayern. I'll probably try to bring him over because he'll kind of count kind of twofold in the sense that like he is now a current Bayern player IRL, and he's also like kind of a Spurs player, so he'll kind of count there as like one kind of for both. And then kind of in that same vein, though, there's like a bajillion center backs here. Most of them are youth players, though. It'll be a situation where I'll probably bring in Bayern Munich legend Eric Dyer, also because he kind of fits the same thing where he's a Bayern player IRL now and a Tottenham player. Right, so that'll kind of be a double whammy there to fit in. And then the other two, potentially, in terms of other backup center back kind of situation, might be Joe Rodon, because he went out. He's the ex-Tottenham guy. He's now at Leeds. He's ex-Tottenham, and then he was on loan at Rennes. I'm pretty sure during the season IRL, like if you go quick to the transfer kind of market thing, let me search for Joe Rodon. There he is, Joe Rodon. Yeah, see, he's at Rennes. Right, that's that. Because I know there's like this Rennes and then like the other Rennes, which is like a little kind of confusing. But yeah, no, this is the correct one, the correct Rennes that like Mathys Tel was at. So yeah, so Joe Rodon will probably be another kind of backup center back situation there because he's kind of played for both Rennes and Tottenham, and then kind of the other one who kind of fits that mold is who's kind of becoming one of my favorite players at Spurs is Jed Spence, because he obviously was also on loan at Rennes that season because Conte was like club signing, be gone, and like they brought him in and like immediately pretty much loaned him out. I think it may have been that January to Rennes, but yeah, so Jed Spence. And so basically the 3 big kind of targets I know I'm probably gonna bring in at some point in this career, but it might be this first season depending on how the moving parts work. But if not, like kind of players who definitely probably be brought in at some point are gonna be kind of these. It's gonna be four, I guess, right? Harry Kane, Eric Dyer, Joe Rodon, and Jed Spence. They're kind of definitely gonna be brought in. The rest, again, it's gonna have to, I have to do some research and whatnot, figure things out. Kind of in terms of Spurs players and Ren players, kind of current and former, to kind of bring in to refresh the squad a little bit. But yeah, so that's kind of the big thing there. I guess let's kind of look at the inbox real quick. I don't know why there's 7 messages in here. This thing, the like preseason crap, which whatever. Playing Sevilla, Athletic Club, and Inter. Okay. International breach. What is this? This is weird. I've never seen this before. Like like a thing like this. Let's go to, I guess, because this has like a link to the objectives. We're gonna go to the board objectives. What does that even mean? Whoa. That is a funky thing I've never seen before. So let's kind of we'll circle back to that in a second. So the youth player is assigned. Oh, this one's kind of annoying because this like you actually have to like sign them. So the short-term one probably not happening. Sign 3 players under 20 with potential greater than the average overall rating of players currently in the same position. That's probably not happening this season. The brand exposure one. Let's kind of peep that again. Get a streak of 7 clean sheets in the league. That'll be an interesting one that may or may not happen. That's kind of going to be dependent. I've actually looked because there's obviously a reason that I guess probably in terms of league position form and stuff. Because obviously this was like Bayern won the season IRL. Bayern won the last day of the season with like the Jamal Musiala like goal against Colm. But where's this? I don't need the transfer stuff. I need the competitions. Okay, I'm looking here. They had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 max winning streak at some point this season. Yes, that might be the range. Here, it was 2 draws on either side, so depending on how those go, and me playing that might be your opportunity to kind of complete that objective, but otherwise probably not going to happen. Because that's like a very like specific and kind of hard objective, TBH. So that one might also not be getting completed. They replaced 3 players from the team. That's like a strange wording one. So we'll kind of see in terms of who's going to kind of be going out and who's going to be coming in this first season. So that one seems like I probably will be able to complete it, but who knows. And the long-term one, expand the club in North America within 2 seasons. Um, don't really quite know how that works. So that one, who knows, that's going to be completed because I don't really quite understand how that works. So I guess we go back to the email. Increase the presence, create foreign markets, potential is about North America. We're happy to discuss how to best achieve opportunities include taking part in preseason tournament, which like, it would have been nice to know that was the objective before I picked the Asian Elite Cup because I just picked the one whichever has the most prize money. But I guess I guess this is 2 seasons, so I guess next season I'll pick the North America one. Maybe that'll do it. And signing high-profile players, there are not that many. TBH Bayern board, so that's not going to happen probably. So let's kind of say that's not going to happen either. So this also might end up being a 1-season wonder because I'm like not going to complete any of the board objectives. It seems like here, and they're going to get very angry with me and potentially sack me. But I guess we do well in the league and stuff. Like we should because Bayern had a good season. In terms of they actually did win the league and whatnot, so I should be safe in that respect. But the board objectives, it is not looking too hot for us here, just based on these initial impressions. In terms of financial ones, let's peep that. Reduce player wages by 150,000 euros a week. This is probably going to depend on like with the transfer stuff, like who I move out and who I move in. They make this whole million profit from youth player sales within 3 seasons. So 3 seasons that should be doable. The domestic success win the DFB Pokal. That one I kind of will see because IRL, I'm pretty sure they went out in the quarterfinals this season in 22-23, which is kind of better than their last couple of seasons. These are like seasons under Tuchel and now company where they've kind of gone out a little early. No, sorry, my nose is like a little runny. But where they've kind of gone out early, so that might be hard, but we'll see. The Bundesliga one we should complete, as they did with the title IRL. And then Champions League, win the Champions League. That's also going to be a relatively tough one, 'cause I'm pretty sure Bayern went out to Man City and they're a quarterfinal stage again. I think the quarterfinals of the Champions League, so they also might be a hard one. So it has it's kind of standing here at the board objectives. It is not looking too good, but again, because we should win the league and the Super Cup and whatnot, that should hopefully kind of stem the tide for the board if this is going to be a multi-season thing. But I guess we will see. But that's kind of I think kind of it for this initial episode, which is a lot longer than I kind of thought it was going to be. Probably because I did a little bit of rambling here, but so I kind of hope if anyone actually stuck around for this whole thing, me rambling a little bit there and abouts a little bit. Hope you kind of enjoyed it. But yeah, the next kind of just scroll through these emails because there's really much to talk about with those. But yeah, so kind of in terms of the next episode will be the 2022-2023 season recap, or we should hopefully, assuming things go as they should, we should have won the league and the Super Cup, and then hopefully we can kind of at least maybe the Pokal we might have a chance, hopefully. So yeah, so yes, we should have at least 2 trophies in the season, hopefully more. But again, we'll kind of see how things go there, and then kind of in that episode, I'll probably based on how things go, I'll probably determine if there'll be a second season or not in this. But yeah, so kind of hopefully you enjoyed this kind of longer, rambly introductory video, and I hope you kind of check out the next episode, which will be as I said, the 22-23 season recap as well. Thank you.